Browns and Texans Sunday, 1 o'clock at NRG Stadium in Houston. Deshaun Watson's return to Houston. Of course, we'll be bringing you picks for the game a little later in this video. But first of all, we're going to do things to watch. But Ashley, a little bit of a twist this time around because really the big story in this game is Deshaun Watson. So we're going to give you things to watch with Deshaun. So what are you watching, or what do you want to see out of Deshaun Watson on Sunday in Houston?
Well, I'm definitely watching to see, this idea of whether or not Deshaun is going to be rusty when he takes the field for the first time in 700 days. So what's that going to look like? Is he going to have his timing down with his receivers? Is he going to be making smart decisions, good throws? How's he going to look in the run game? How's his processing going to look going up against an opposing defense for the first time in almost 2 years in an actual live game action situation? Because the reality is that preseason game against Jacksonville, he only completed 1 of 5 passes, but it's such a small sample size. No one's really putting much stock in it. I think we still don't really understand what this offense is going to look like. So I'm curious to see if he looks rusty and who his top targets end up being.
So you kind of touched on it. We don't really know what this offense is going to look like, and I think that's what I want to watch is sort of how seamlessly does he kind of fit into what we think Kevin Stefanski wants to do. We've talked a little bit about how it's felt like Kevin was running almost a Deshaun Watson offense all season long, which maybe was kind of low-key a smart thing to do, and now they get to just sort of put Deshaun Watson in there, and I want to see how much easy stuff is there that he can take advantage of. How many throws will he make that maybe Jacoby just didn't get to or wasn't able to make? What plays are there within the offense we've already seen that Deshaun Watson can make that maybe Jacoby Brissett did not? So now we usually do 3 things to watch. Did you have another one, or do you need me to come up with one here?
No, I can come up with one. I guess this is still in a sense Deshaun Watson related, but I know we had talked about this before, this idea of the Houston Texans have a really bad run defense. So maybe you let Deshaun Watson kind of ease into this one if you're Kevin Stefanski and really rely on Nick Chubb some more and let Deshaun make some easy throws, get his rhythm, get back up to game speed. But I think there's definitely still room for them to be able to take advantage on the ground here if they take that chance.
So because I sprung that on you, I'm going to throw a 4th one.
Bonus.
Our viewers get a bonus thing to watch before we get to our picks. I want to see how the defense responds. Mm-hmm. I actually think even though they kind of downplayed it outside of Jadeveon Clowney, they've sort of been downplaying this. I think there's going to be a level of excitement to having Deshaun Watson out there and having a potentially explosive offense. Whether we see that on Sunday or it takes a little bit of time, I think when you have that as a defender, you're able to take more chances. It puts you in situations where, for JD and Miles, they can rush the passer a little more. It just takes a lot of pressure off that defense, and I think they'll be excited to do that. So let's go ahead and make our picks. I'll go first here. This is a gimme, right? I'm going to take the Browns 28-10 to win this game pretty easily against a Texans team that is playing for that number 1 pick and really has their focus turned to the 2023 draft. Ashley, what's your pick?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Dan, for I don't think I've ever done this. I'm actually changing my pick from our Orange and Brown Talk podcast because I've had more time to think about it. And I think this Browns team is definitely going to win by more than 1 touchdown. So I'm taking them 31-17 as opposed to the 31-24 pick I believe I made on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast preview episode. So I'm with you. I don't see a world in which they really struggle with this team. I think this is a chance for them to kind of ease Deshaun Watson into things. It's still not quite their highest scoring game of the year, so I don't think the prediction of them to get over 30 points is too outlandish. They got 32 in that Bengals win, so I think I'm feeling pretty good going into this one about their chances.
All right, Browns-Texans Sunday, 1 o'clock in Houston, and of course, as always, we'll cover it all at cleveland.com/Browns.